Wow. Don, thank you so much for the introduction. And first of all, thanks to you for arranging this amazing event. I've been here in the past, I think, twice. And it's just so wonderful to see such beautiful, dynamic, young, vibrant faces all across. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Many of you probably are here from, since morning. Thank you. You truly have patience, and it only shows that you're here to learn and gain knowledge. And of course, I'm here to learn from you as well. Thank you so much for having me, Don. In the past, I've spoken about my story, I've spoken about my career, corporate life, obstacles, etc. And in this day and age of social media, you get everything in the media, right? Many of you probably have heard my speeches in the past. It's the same thing again and again. So I was thinking, what is it that I can talk to you about and share with you? But before that, when I was listening to the previous speaker, Siam, I just felt, ও এসে বলল যে আপনাদের সাথে আমার তো মনে হয় বয়সের অত পার্থক্য নেই, আমার ঠিক উল্টাটা বলতে হবে মনে হয় এখন, যে আসলে পার্থক্যটা অনেক বেশি. But still, I'll try to relate to the kind of situation that you are going through now, because I've also been there in the past. And at the same time, I hope with my experience, from my success, failures, I'll be able to share my learning with you so that you learn from us and then you pave your own path. With that in mind, today, I just want to ask you, I want to see how many of you raise your hand. How many of you love yourself? Nasrul Hamid bhai? There are a lot of people who love you, but I'm sure you love yourself too. And I've seen majority of the people raising their hand. That's excellent, because today my topic is 10 rules of being the best version of yourself. Now, while I'll be talking about this particular topic, I'll try to share some stories from my life, from my corporate life, personal life, and I hope I'll be able to hear some from you as well. So I want it to be very interactive. I'll try to speak less and listen more, because the most fundamental need of human being is to be understood and to understand. And the only way that you can understand a person is by listening to them. So always listen, it's very important. So I want to listen to you, and I believe by listening to me, you will learn something, gain some insight. So the first rule that I want to talk about is love yourself. You guys are already there. I don't have to tell you how to do that. However, I've seen in many cases that we doubt ourselves a lot. I myself at times have many negative thoughts in my mind. Sometimes I tell myself, maybe it's not possible. It has happened in the past. How have I overcome that thought? By loving myself. Can you imagine, if you don't love yourself, if you don't love the way you are, who you are, how do you expect others to love you? Many a times we criticize ourselves a lot. Constructive criticism is very good. When you know your weaknesses, try to work on that. But other than that, when you start loving yourself, you start believing in yourself. You tell yourself, I can do it, it's possible for me to go for my dream. Extremely important. When you don't love yourself, you'll always tell yourself, maybe I'm not worth it. Does it happen? Maybe I don't deserve that position. Has it happened to you? What do you do when you have those kind of thoughts? You think of all the reasons which will substantiate that thought, right? So you have to think, you have to tell yourself all those negative thoughts, all those negative ideas, even others give you. You have to block your mind and think positive. And in a way, you will actually end up loving yourself. The other thing that I want to tell you is that sometimes we say, I'm really bored. Do you often say that? I'm really bored? What does that mean? When you're alone and you're bored, You are in? Exactly. That's one of my favorite gurus, Sadhguru, the proponent of spirituality. He mentioned this, and this has been resonating in my mind that now I don't ever say that I'm bored when I'm alone. Because if you're bored in your own company, then there's definitely a problem with yourself, right? So be self-motivated, love yourself. I love to be on my own, really, because I have so many things to do. There's so many creative ways of making sure that I don't get bored. So I always try to improve myself, try to be better than what I am today. The second thing that I want to talk about, apart from loving yourself, is love what you do. There's a difference between the two, right? Have you heard that quote? Do what you love and love what you do. একটু contradictory মনে হয় না জিনিসটা? How does this work? If you don't love what you do, will you be happy? Whatever makes you happy is a very interesting thought to have, that do whatever makes you happy, but do you know what really makes you happy? Sometimes we think, oh, if I buy this car, I'm going to be the happiest person. Then what happens? The next thing is you want something else. I want a bigger car. If I get this job, if I can only get into this particular company, I'll be the happiest person. Once you get in, what happens? You want more, right? It's good to, have ambition. It's good to raise the bar and try to achieve that. What I'm talking about is that what will actually give you happiness? Have you thought about it? Dig deeper, look into yourself, find that particular thing that really makes you happy. I have noticed what really makes me happy is when I see whatever I'm doing, how it is impacting on others' lives. If you look at my career, I got into telecom, right? I was there for almost 19 years. Then I became an entrepreneur. For 3.5 years now, I'm running a telemedicine company, Pulse. We're also one of the co-sponsors. And now I'm back into the corporate world as one of the leaders and running Oracle Bangladesh. Now, do you see the cycle? Do you see any common factor? Not really. The only common factor is it's all related to ICT, related to IT in a way, because IT today is an enabler, right? It's everywhere. It's not just one division, one unit. I'm not an engineer, nor am I a programmer or a coder. But I'm actually running this particular company, Oracle, which is one of the largest tech companies in the world. We provide software, hardware, and we are catering to various government agencies, private companies in Bangladesh. Now, in this entire life cycle of my career, I cannot think of one instance where I haven't loved what I did. When I was representing Grameenphone, from day one, I took full ownership of what I was doing, even as a normal executive drawing 14,000 taka salary. I was in love with the company's vision. I was searching for the soul of the company. What does it stand for? It stands for connecting people. At that time, the rural people didn't have access to urban, all these services, facilities. All the farmers were getting ripped off by the middlemen because they didn't know the right price in the market. We were solving these problems. Businesses from outside of Dhaka didn't know how to connect with the customers. Mother couldn't connect to the son who had moved, migrated from rural areas to urban area, or maybe vice versa. So we solved these problems. So that passion came upon, and I felt the need to be part of this. I felt the ownership to drive that company forward. It was not for money, it was not for numbers. It was that passion that drove me. And when I felt that I have made myself redundant, because now there are other people who can take care of it. It runs like a machine. I moved into another company which came in new in Bangladesh, Airtel. And as a chief service officer of that company, I learned so much about consumer insight. how to ensure there's consumer engagement, how to ensure that we understand the consumer's problem and try to resolve that problem. And we focused on one particular segment heavily, and that was the youth. And we actually launched various services for the youth. And I learned so much about youth, about Adda, about music, about sports, what it meant to them, and how as a telecom company we can provide those services to them. That's how the journey began. And I loved each and every insights that I gained through that particular experience. 17 years, 18 years in telecom. And after that, I thought, what is it that I can do to give back from what I have learned under all these large companies under their umbrella, from Grameenphone, from Airtel? What is it that I can do? It's been a long time. And I thought of various problems that we are facing. One is education, the other one is healthcare. And I chose healthcare when I learned that the doctor-to-patient ratio is 1:3,000. There are 80% of the people who live in the rural areas. How can we provide them with solution with the digital technology whereby they can actually speak to the doctors over phone, they don't have to commute, spend money, and at the same time, they get the convenience of reaching out to the qualified doctors, which they don't. And for people like us who are very busy, we don't have time to go to the doctor's chamber and wait for 2 hours in the traffic for 2 hours. We get to use this particular service. And one day, I received a call. This was in 2018. From Sylhet, Maulavi Bazar. This father called and said, I'm frantically looking for a doctor, maybe a neurologist, for my daughter, because my daughter is 12-year-old and she doesn't speak. But there is a problem probably. I have to go to a neurologist. Can you connect me? Those days we were just new, we didn't know who to get in touch with. We got in touch with a neurologist, got that father connected to that doctor. He could speak to him, do video conference with the doctor in Dhaka, and then later on brought their daughter and then got his daughter, maybe not cured, but at least he consulted with the doctor. So when that happened, I felt that my purpose is met. If one person gets the service, gets cured because of this particular solution, I'm happy, and that is my success story. And I love what I do. Even though I've gone back to corporate, I'm still the founder of Pulse. I have excellent team. I can see my team members here. Hi. And they're running the show, and they're running the show with passion, with ownership, with accountability, because every life matters. Every problem of our customer matters. Every problem of the doctors matter to us. We know what they have gone through during COVID time. We tried to give them services so that remotely they could serve the consumers. I love what I do. Coming back to Oracle. Now you see, I have taken risks after risks. I know, I told you, I'm not an engineer, right? When I joined Oracle, I was like, oh my God, somebody has put me in the middle of an ocean. Because I don't know what this ERP is. I've just used it as a customer. I've told, as a business leader, to my IT team, I need this feature, and they got it from a vendor. I don't know what cloud infrastructure is. I don't know what software is. But you know what? That passion to create some impact, to contribute to our country's vision of digital Bangladesh. All the companies are going through transformation. How can Oracle help? And when I thought about it, oh my God, I've got this opportunity, I felt it was God sent, really. At that point, to come to me, it took me 8 months to decide if I want to join back. And then I realized I have a good team to run Pulse, I can join back. So I again took a risk. And the thought of solving these problems, being part of this entire revolution really made me think. And I just fell in love with that passion, with that idea, with that concept. And hence I went back and started. And I'm really happy today that just last year in December, we closed one of the largest deals with the government to set up government's local cloud infrastructure for the first time in Bangladesh. In the entire ASEAN region, it's the first time that a government is deploying their own cloud infrastructure, and that also is Oracle. So love what you do what you love. Try to find the soul of the company where you're working. Try to see the values that they abide by. Does it match with yours? Some people tell me that, you're running Pulse, why don't you start, beautification and these kind of services, you'll earn a lot of money. I said, but I'm not passionate about it. What I'm passionate about is connecting that rural person to the qualified doctor or specialist. So you have to know what you want, search for it, and love what you do. And then it will no more be work for you. You will be automatically engaged, automatically curious, automatically engaged to provide better service. And of course, you will also gain insight through that. The third thing that I want to talk about, in order for you to be the best version of yourself, can I see the third point? The third point is, do not compromise. What does it mean? Especially women. We often compromise, right? We say it's okay. আমি এই পর্যন্ত যাই, এটুকুই হবে. And we often want to live by others' benchmark. What they think I am capable of doing. Is that correct? Is that what you would tell your daughter or son? Imagine yourself as a 1-year-old. Is that what you would tell yourself? No. So then why do you listen to others? Why do you get affected by others? Never compromise. Do not compromise. Believe in yourself, have confidence, and know that you deserve everything that you want. You are worth it. The day you start compromising, what are you doing? You're clipping the wings of your dream. You have to add wings to your dream. So do not compromise, and once you start thinking in that manner, you will see that you are only rising high and high. The fourth point that I want to talk about is create your own path. Many of you often talk about role models, often talk about people who inspire you. You often want to follow their path. I'll always say that when you listen to us, listen to your role models, whoever you want to follow, learn from their mistakes and failures, learn from their journey, but never follow that. You pave your own path. Every time I thought of, doing something great, and I thought, what is it that I want from my life? And I thought, you know what? I want to leave behind a legacy. Something that I can really look back and feel so proud about. I don't want to follow someone else's path. Yes, there are many women, men who have inspired me. I want to learn. Then I want to set my own path. So don't try to follow somebody, because then you're only trying to be like that person. You have your own uniqueness. Embrace that. Understand what are those unique strengths that you have. Understand your weaknesses and work on it. But try to create your own path, because when you do that, that's when you will stand out from the crowd. If you do the same thing, have you watched many of these, musical, talent shows where they're doing screening and a lot of people come and then they sing, right? Many of the times I've seen all these contestants, they come and they try to follow the singer A to Z. Have you noticed? When they follow them A to Z, the judges say, but you just kind of copied, but where is your style? What have you added to that? We want to see that, because that will actually show your uniqueness. And remember, when everything is the same, what will happen? You will not stand out. You will not be able to differentiate. Same goes for your products and services. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're going to follow what everybody else is doing, oh, he has opened up a boutique, I'll open up a boutique. But you're not thinking of what difference you will make. You're not thinking how are you going to make a difference, different from others. So be creative, be innovative, and create your own path, leave behind your own legacies. I'm sure you worked under many leaders, many supervisors that you still think of. Oh, you know what? He said this, she said this. This has happened to me in my life. Because those people left behind something unique that I will always remember. So be that person and follow your own path. When you try to follow your own path, obviously we all talk about it, we know there are risks. There are many people who don't want to take risk. They want to stay in their comfort zone, right? I'm fine where I am. Bhai, amar dorkar nahi eto kichur. There are people who refuse to take promotion. I hope none of you is amongst those. I have noticed, I want to promote and I want to give more responsibility, but they would refuse. Why? Because they think A, too much work, B, too much risk. If you don't take risk, how would you know what you're capable of? So you must embrace failure. Why do we avoid risk? Anybody? Fear of failure, right? Ki hobe failure hole, people will say something. Do you know when I was shifting back to corporate life, being an entrepreneur, how much time do I have? Not much. I'll go very quickly. Okay, when I wanted to come back to being in corporate from being an entrepreneur, a lot of people told me, a lot of people are going to say really bad things about you that you've just started as an entrepreneur, you're coming back. And I said, so what? It's my life. This is what I would love to do. I can run both. I'm not worried about what people would say, and I'm not even worried about failure. But I know I will always give my best. I will take the risk. I will be ready for failure because what? I want to learn from my failure and move forward. I need to rise again like a phoenix. Each time you fail, you need to rise back again like a phoenix. Learn from your failure and move forward. Otherwise, you will not know how to explore. You will not know what you're capable of doing if you don't take risks. So embrace failure. The 5 points, I'll go very quickly and then we'll open up for question and answer. I want to also listen to you, Rasul Hamid Bhai, so definitely I'll be quick. Be a lifelong learner. I cannot emphasize on this more than anything else. All of you here who are sitting here since morning till now, you guys will make it. You guys will make it big. You know why? Spending so much time, holiday, weekend, and you're listening to us. Why? Because you're trying to learn. You're self-motivated. Did your company send you here? You're self-motivated. You came here to learn. You came here to listen, to draw insight. So be a lifelong learner. Have that pursuit of knowledge. Be curious. Ask questions. Every single day, I tell myself, what have I learned new today? It could be just a word. It could be just an English word that I didn't know the meaning of. As simple as that. It could be something about, okay, how does this coding work? What is this Java thing? I don't know. Just recently, I completed my cloud infrastructure training, being a non-technical person. And I loved it. It took me many days to learn, but then when I finally got the certificate, I was ecstatic like a little kid. It's a simple thing, but I learned something new. So always, always keep learning. Today, in this age, in this time, what do we have? We have access to social media, we have YouTube, we have website, you have access to these kind of events where you get access to all these leaders and hear about their life, hear about their experiences. You learn every day. Once you listen, once you learn through that, only then you can apply. And then again, find your own path to apply those learnings. I talked about this, dream big. When you think of something, an idea, a concept, don't curb yourself. Don't think that, no, it's not possible. Give wings to your dream. You must always think, how can I make it real? Dream big, and definitely if you focus And if you know exactly this is what I want, you will be able to fly. So never give up on your dreams. Dream big. Dream as if you will never die. And live as if you'll die tomorrow. So keep dreaming. Definitely, you have to be bold. What does it take to be bold? Be arrogant? No. What is being bold? Can anybody tell me what is being bold? Confidence and knowledge. Fearless. When you're fearless, you are limitless. Be bold. Be bold when you have to say yes. Be bold when you have to say no. Learn to say no. And you know, there are many opportunities that's going to come on your way. Sometimes you have to say no to focus on that particular dream that you have. Don't try to grab whatever comes in. Learn to say no. When you see some injustice happening, raise your voice. Be bold. Raise your voice. Make sure your voice is heard and you be the voice for others who are not raising their voice. So it's extremely important to be bold, and only that way, when you're confident, not arrogant, when you're confident, when you know what you are made of, your strengths, only then you should be able to show this boldness and move forward. This is very important. Surround yourself with positive people. There are many family members, there are sometimes friends, there are sometimes maybe somebody you really look up to who could be negative at times. Surround yourself with positive people. You've heard that quote, right? It's actually research-based conclusion that you are an average of the 5 people that you mix with. Have you heard that? What does it mean? If you're surrounded by people who are always telling you, "Are eta hobe na, eta korish na, eta fail hobe, e fail hoyeche, toke diye eta hobe na, tui to lazy," erokom kotha hoy? And then what do? Because we give so much importance to our friends, to our family, we tend to listen to them. Do you know 95% of your life's failure and success depends upon the people you're with. But you can make a change. You can always come out of if you're in that kind of a situation, you can come out of that situation and you can create again your own circle and learn. Today you're here, you're surrounded by people who all want to learn. You're surrounded by people who want to give. We are all positive people here trying to help each other out. If you go to another, some place where people are talking about, even in politics, right? There are a lot of people who only criticize. They're only talking negative things. We need people who will talk good things about Bangladesh. We need people who are positive. Only then what will happen? We will create more inspiration. We will inspire others. People will set more aspirational goals for themselves. It is possible. I mean, look at Bangladesh. Every time I represent Bangladesh outside of the country, I'm so proud to tell them who our Prime Minister is, our Speaker is, our opposition leader is, our ministers, corporate leaders. I mean, look at us. I'm surrounded by all these people. And that's why I feel so good. I also feel positive. I also feel inspired. So, surround yourself with positive people. Don't forget your roots. Sometimes when we achieve something, sometimes when we have reached certain goal, we become little arrogant. Sometimes we forget where we have come from. But always, always remember your roots. When you show that you remember your roots, you show your gratitude where you have come from, people will respect you. Try this. Say, "Ami Bangali, Ami Bangladesher, amader ei jinishgulo ache, I'm proud of myself." You'll see how people will start to respect you. And try the other way around, you'll see what happens. So remember where you have come from. Ami kintu class 5 পর্যন্ত বাংলা মিডিয়ামে, তারপর আমার আব্বার পোস্টিং হয়ে যায় বিদেশে, আমি ইংলিশ মিডিয়ামে পড়ি, আবার আমি ব্যাক করি, আমি কিন্তু ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে মার্কেটিংয়ে মাস্টার্স করা। আই নো মাই রুটস, I never forget that. No matter where I am, I'm so proud to mention where I am from. With that thought, I wish you all the best. I won't take too much time. I'll just open up for question answer, maybe one, if there is time. And then I'll hand over to the next speaker. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best.